up, though? This is the Onrea Initiative Podcast. My name is Brian Onrea. I'm your host, and I'm glad you decided to listen to the Onrea Podcast today. This is episode number 11. You know 11 is my favorite number, right? So we got to make this a real special episode. You feel me? If you're listening to this on audio or if you're watching this on YouTube, I appreciate you. I appreciate every single person that came across this podcast. My goal is to give you some positivity, some motivation, and some inspiration with the latest pop, news, culture, sports news, music reviews, movie reviews. So let's get right into it, man. Before we get into it, though, please make sure you subscribe to this podcast. If you're watching it on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening on, Spotify, iHeartRadio, any Apple Podcast, any podcast platform, please follow the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, and on all the platforms, leave a positive review, a positive comment. That helps me out, and I'll be sure to respond. You feel me? We're in, I don't know, today is the 15th. This is Martin Luther King Day. Again, shout out MLK, shout out peace, shout out equality, shout out to all races and ethnicities getting along, respecting one another, loving one another. If you're racist in any kind of way, if you're bigoted in any kind of way, I want you to know that I don't rock with you and you're not welcome, to my content. Forget you. If you judge people based on their skin color, based on where they come from, based on their ethnicity, their gender, their religion, their sexual orientation, if you judge people on any of that, I'm not rocking with you. I'm down with unity and love amongst all people. I don't got nothing against races intermingling. I don't have anything against races dating interracially. I'm not against none of that stuff, man. I'm all with integration and not segregation. And I'm all about love. I'm all about love, peace, and unity. If you're down with that, I can rock with you. If you're not down with that, I'm not rocking with you. Point blank, period. So take that however you want to take that. Having said that, I hope that you are all taking initiative for the things in your life that you want to do this year. January, people start the new year with all these resolutions and they tend to fall off. You and I, though, we're not going to fall off. We're going to stay strong and we're going to complete the mission and fulfill all of our goals. You just got to stick with it. And that's part of why I'm here. I'm here to encourage you to stick with it, to not give up, to stick with that diet, stick with that business plan, stick with that savings plan. Stick with that commitment to your family, commitment to your kids and your spouse. Stick with that commitment. I'm here to encourage you to stick with it, and follow it through to completion. There's going to always be obstacles. But, tough times don't last. Tough people do. And when things get difficult, just remember, if it was easy, everyone would do it. Everybody can do the easy stuff. It's easy to do the easy stuff, man. But what about when it gets hard? You and I, me and you that's listening and watching, we're champions. When the average person gives up, we press through because we got that mental and that internal fortitude, that internal strength to press through. We know that life can get hard, but we know that it gets greater later. There's victory on the other side of conflict. There's victory on the other side of trials and tribulation. There's victory on the other side of that. And we will experience victory. We will triumph. I'm with you in this. I'm fighting with you. I go through stuff just like you do, but we're going to make it together. We're going to stick together and we're going to make it together. That's the reason why I don't have no time for no division, no strife, none of this racial BS that be going on, man. None of this race war stuff, because we are trying to make it. Every race, creed, and color, we all trying to get over that hump, and we're going to do it together. We need more unity. Yeah, we disagree on a lot of stuff as a nation, as a society, and that's fine. But we agree on a lot of stuff too. We all want, the American dream, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We all want that. So let's, get along. When we disagree, let's be respectful. Let's debate stuff out. Let's get to the bottom line. And sometimes agree to disagree, but let's love one another most of all. You feel me? Speaking of loving one another, man, I want to get into this movie review real quick. Last podcast, I talked about the Book of Clarence soundtrack and how I was looking forward to seeing the movie. So I saw the movie, man. And let me just tell you, man, it was a very, very, very interesting movie. let's just do the review, man. The Book of Clarence. The Book of Clarence, again, was a interesting movie, man. James Samuel pretty much wrote and directed it and did all the music for it. It's a very, very star-studded cast, starring Lakeith Stanfield. Lakeith Stanfield was the main actor. James McAvoy was in it. Of course, Tiana Taylor. Benedict Cumberbatch, I believe his last name. The guy from Doctor Strange. Caleb McLaughlin was in it. From Stranger Things was in it. Michael Ward. Michael Ward is a British actor who played in Top Boy. He was in it. He played Judas. A lot of good cast, man. David Oyelawo, I'm sorry if I pronounced his name wrong, played John the Baptist. My man Eric Kofi Abrifa from BMF, Lamar, he was in the movie. I mean, it was really Alfred Woodard was in the movie. Nicholas Pinnock, who played in the ABC for Life TV show, was in the movie. A lot of folks, man. Tiana Taylor played Mary Magdalene in the movie. Just a star-studded cast, man. And all the actors did a phenomenal job in the movie. And overall, the movie, like I said, it was pretty interesting, but I said it was a good movie. It did take a lot of twists and turns. You know, it almost kind of was genre bending, because at one point, it seems like it may be a comedy or a spoof. Then it turns into like a drama. Then it turns into a biblical movie. The movie was about, I'm not going to give it away, but it's called The Book of Clarence. It's about a guy named Clarence who lived at the same time as Jesus lived the earth and walked the earth. So he, kind of fashioned himself around that movement, around the Messiah movement, to make a name for himself. And he gets himself in all kind of trouble doing so. And again, very funny parts in the movie, very dramatic parts. So it only got a set 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's almost 50-50. So it got a lot of negative reviews as well as a lot of positive reviews, mixed reviews. But I think a lot of the complaints was that they didn't know where the movie was going. They didn't know what kind of genre it was. It kept taking twists and turns. The movie is set up in 3 acts, book 1, book 2, and book 3. And each act kind of took a twist and turn. Me personally, I don't mind it, man. I don't mind genre bending, movies. I don't mind movies that are not normal. This movie was definitely outside the box. I'll give it that. And I think it deserves credit for that. And the acting alone, is worth making it, it's worth seeing the movie just for the actors and the performances. The performances were great. And it's a cool little spin on like the biblical times. We've seen the traditional movies. Was it Ben-Hur, the movie that come on every Easter, the 10 Commandments, all the, the Passion of the Christ, all the classic biblical movies. I think this movie deserves to go right up there with that, because, a lot of folks are saying it was a blasphemous movie, It's not blasphemous. They respected the story of Jesus. They didn't change any facts in the story of Jesus. They didn't change any facts, and they didn't go against none of the story of Jesus. This is just a story that ran parallel to it. And in fact, Jesus is in the movie, the character Jesus. So it didn't do nothing to go against the Jesus story, to go against Christianity. It just told a story right alongside it, that if anything, it affirmed the Christian story. It reassured, it reestablished the Christian story. So it's not blasphemous at all. So if you're worried about it being blasphemous, I'm not going to lie. The first trailer I saw, I was kind of like, is this making a mockery out of God? But it's not. It's not at all. It's not blasphemous. But it is a very, very unique story. It's an original story. I think it's very creative to take a traditional story and think about, hey, what about the people who are around Jesus? What about the people who were living around that same time? How were they? Human nature is human nature. So a lot of it was, stuff that you can relate to even in 2024. So I thought it was a real interesting movie. I thought it was good overall. I would give it a thumbs up. I would say go see it. It only did about $3 million at the box office, about $3 million. It came in 9th place. Didn't do so well. Overall box office, man, the Mean Girls remake came out. And I didn't even know that movie came out, but it did $28 million over the 3-day weekend. Going to be 30-something when they include Martin Luther King Day. The Mean Girls did good. The Beekeeper did pretty good. I wasn't going to see that movie. It didn't seem pretty interesting. But then I saw that David Ayer directed that movie. Now, David Ayer is one of my favorite directors. You know what I'm saying? Go look David Ayer up. David Ayer does a lot of good action movies and kind of, crime dramas, So that made me might want to see it. But the Book of Clarence, again, only did $3 million at the box office. I think y'all should see it. Y'all should check it out. I recommend it. I like the movie. You know what I'm saying? Moving right along, man. I want to get into some music takes, man. That 21 Savage album I told y'all about is going to do well over 100 million. I mean, well over 100,000 copies sold. I think 120, 130 sold. That's a successful week these days. So shout out to 21 Savage. Speaking of somebody 21 Savage collaborates with a lot, Drake. Drake made a lot of headlines over the weekend with Yasin Bey, aka Mos Def. He caught heat. And he caused a lot of controversy when his clip resurfaced for a podcast he was on. I forget the name of the podcast, sorry. But he had this quote when the interviewer, the young lady, asked him about Drake, if Drake was hip-hop. Is Drake considered hip-hop? Oh, boy. Mos Def, he laughed and said, why are you doing this to me, is what he first said. Then he began his answer. He said, Drake is pop to me in a sense like if I was in Target in Houston and I heard a Drake song, it feels like a lot of his music is compatible with shopping or shopping with an edge in certain instances. It's likable. And man, when he said that, the internet went crazy. And this big old debate about whether Drake is hip hop, and let me just say, for the record, in my opinion, and Brian Onrea, in my opinion, Drake is definitely hip hop. Hip hop isn't like one thing, just because Drake's subject matter might not be like traditional in the sense of he doesn't really talk too much about conscious things, about social issues, I thought that the God's Plan video, though, God's Plan video was about as heartfelt as you can make it. Him going around blessing all these people with money, impacting these people's lives. Even though the song wasn't really about much really, but the fact that he was in the video, giving out, money and changing people's lives, that was a real good moment. And that was conscious to me, even though the song wasn't conscious. But I think Drake raps really, really well. I mean, heck, if you look at this last album, For All the Dogs, he put out a bonus album to it with 6-7 songs, straight hip hop, straight boom bap, straight lyricism. I mean, look at Drake's whole series where he does like 9 a.m. in Toronto or 8 p.m. in Calabasas, when he does these times in certain places. On those songs, he raps. He rap. And I would venture to say that your favorite conscious rapper, Drake, probably raps better than your favorite conscious rapper. Let me say it again. Take your favorite conscious MC, and Drake probably raps better than them. Probably. There's not a whole lot of people who can rap better than Drake. You know what I'm saying? So cut it out, man. Drake is hip hop. And let me just say, man, this is no shots at Mos Def or Yasin Bey. That's his opinion. He's entitled to it. He's one of the master MCs. He's one of the master artists of our generation because Mos Def is an excellent rapper. He's also a very underrated actor. I wish Yasin would act more because he is and in fact, he started as an actor. He was a child actor. As a matter of fact, like in his teens, he was acting. He's an amazing actor. He's an amazing MC. So he has the right to get off whatever opinion he does. I just disagree with it. And I think most of y'all people, on Twitter or X as it's called, most of y'all is trying to downgrade Drake and say Drake is not hip hop. Stop it, man. Drake is definitely hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say it one last time. Drake is definitely hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he sings a lot. Yeah, his subject matter is kind of poppy. He has a huge crossover appeal. He crosses over really well. He is arguably the highest selling rapper ever. It's like him, Eminem, they right up there. It's like best selling rapper. So don't hold that against him. Eminem is hip hop, by the way. He sells a lot of records. That's another debate. I don't want to go here today, but Drake is hip hop, man. So stop that, man. Again, it's a big debate. Go on Twitter, man, and it's probably still trending. Mos Def, Yasin Bey, Drake was trending all weekend. Speaking of trending on X, the Detroit Lions are trending, baby. I told y'all we was gonna beat the Rams. Now let me just say this, man. We should have beat the brakes off the Rams. We didn't beat the we barely won by 1 point. We should have beat them worse than that, man. And that does concern me. But we'll deal with that next week. But we beat the Rams, man. The Lions' first playoff win in like I was a little kid. The year that there was a big controversy or a big thing in Detroit where a guy named Mike Utley was paralyzed off an injury he had in that particular season. And that season, we rallied around Mike Utley, and we ended up going to the NFC Championship. And we lost to, I think, the Redskins. Well, they're the Commanders now, but they were the Redskins back then. I was a little kid then, and that was the last time we won a playoff game. I think it was the early 90s. So shout out to the Lions for winning that first playoff game. I think, man, if we play to our best ability, can't nobody see us in the NFC besides the 49ers, in my humble opinion. But we'll see. Speaking of NFC, man, the Packers beat the Cowboys. And they didn't just beat the Cowboys. They beat the brakes off the Cowboys. Man, they put on the show. Offensively, defensively, Jordan Love looked like a young Aaron Rodgers out there. They beat him down pretty bad, man. And Cowboys fans, every year, it's like the Cowboys are destined to just lose when it come down to it, man. Some say it's revenge because that whole Lions-Cowboys game was a fiasco that the refs took from us. But, yeah, the Packers beat the Cowboys, man. Saturday, the Texans beat the Browns. C.J. Stroud did his thing, you know what I'm saying? One of the best rookie performances since maybe Cam Newton, you know what I'm saying? I don't even think Cam Newton's team won a lot, though, that year. This is one of the best rookie performances of all time. Joe Flacco, you know, went back to being Joe Flacco, throwing those picks, man. The Chiefs beat the Dolphins in a very cold game, the fourth coldest game in NFL history. That was crazy, you know, seeing that happen. The Chiefs looked like they were in control. Patrick Mahomes was doing his thing. Travis Kelce did his thing. Tua didn't show, but everybody's getting on Tua, man. But like, look, man, the offense should have handled business, and they should have won a division. They should have had a home playoff game, but they cost themselves that. So I don't blame them for losing this game. I blame them for losing at the end of the season to cause themselves to not have a home playoff game, because the weather to me was a big factor in this, man. Shout out to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. You know what I'm saying? They still going strong. It's funny how whenever you watch a Chiefs game, they always show Taylor Swift, you know what I'm saying, in the stands. You know, like, I couldn't imagine, like, you know, trying to watch a football game, knowing that the whole nation is watching me watch a football game, you know what I'm saying? But I guess she's a big celebrity. She's used to it. One thing that caught my attention was, you know, in any sporting event these days, you go to any football, basketball game, there's going to be a time when they put the swag surfing song, and everybody going to be, you know, swag surfing. And this happens at every sporting event. So, of course, this happened at the Chiefs game, and they showed Taylor Swift. She was getting it. You know, she was getting it, doing her thing, surfing back and forth. And, you know, the Twitter, man, was just ripping. They ripped this girl so much for nothing. Why is she doing it? Who she thinks she is? Does she think she black? And you know, she ain't invited to the cookout. You know, who says she want to come to the cookout? She just swag surfing, bro. Leave her alone. Like, stop picking on Taylor Swift. You know what I'm saying? They just pick on that girl for no reason. You know what I'm saying? She is literally enjoying herself in the stands, and they're just picking on her on social media. It's weird. You know what I'm saying? So lay off that, man. But shout out to the Chiefs. They beat the Dolphins. They advanced. Listen, man, the Chiefs are experienced. They're used to winning. I know they had a rocky season, but they could turn it on at the right time and make a run to the Super Bowl. They really could, man. They really could, man. I want to see them, the Chiefs, and the Ravens play in the AFC Championship. That's what I want to see. I don't know, man. I guess we got to keep our eyes out for that, man. But that's my sports take. I saw last night Dame hit a last-minute shot, you know what I'm saying, to beat the Sacramento Kings. You know what I'm saying? That was an interesting game. I saw the Kings coach, Mike Brown, get ejected from the game, about to fight the referees. You know what I'm saying? Mike Brown. I didn't know Mike Brown, man, was really you know, with the stuff. You know what I'm saying? With the you know what I'm saying? With the antics. I remember when that clip came out of Mike Brown cussing out his players in practice. That clip leaked, him cussing his players out. Mike Brown is with the drama. He's with the you know what, you know what I'm saying? That was funny. But yeah, Damian Lillard, they were down by I think 2 points with the clock expiring, and he hit that 3-point shot, and he did it daytime, you know, big celebration. I'm telling y'all, the Bucks are getting it together, man, in the East. The Celtics should be, you know, a little bit worried because the Bucks are coming. You know, the Celtics got the best record, I believe, but the Bucks are coming, you know what I'm saying? Or the Celtics at least got the best home record. They undefeated at home, but the Bucks are coming, man. Watch out for the Bucks. The Pistons made a trade. I don't even want to get into it, you know. Shout out to Marvin Bagley. I like Marvin Bagley, but they traded him, you know what I'm saying? And we'll see what the Pistons going to do from here. The worst team in the league. But anyway, those are my sports takes, man. This has been an Onrea Initiative podcast, man. I love each and every one of y'all, all y'all watching this. Thank you for watching this. If you made it this far, too, in the video, I'm noticing that my analytics, folks don't watch, my average watch time is not as high as I want it to be. So if you made it this far, you know what I'm saying, I love you, you know what I'm saying. If you made it this far, man, shout out to you. But keep watching, keep sharing, keep leaving comments, man, and keep chasing your goals. Keep taking initiative. Remember, you had the power to change your life. Ain't nobody gonna come save you, man. Find those areas in your life you want to improve and take initiative. Don't wait on some miracle to happen. Do it yourself, man. Take initiative, man. You go hard, and then the universe, God, will meet you where you at, and you'll win, man. That's it. Have a good week, man. I love y'all.